Hey guys, it's Trey. I'm making this video today just so that everyone on the team is kind of on the same page moving forward in all our games and stuff, and because it can be really hard when we're on the sidelines in the middle of games to try and describe what people are doing on the field or what people should be doing on the field. So hopefully this little video will be able to help you guys who really have no familiarity with Frisbee just start to learn the basics so that when you get out there, you're not thrown in head over heels and lost the whole time. That way, we can all go out there, we can all have some fun together, and hopefully we'll win the season. So, this little diagram I have here, this is going to be our mock-up of the field, and we're going to do the man D today. We have intro to man defense as our topic for this video. So, where to start? We should probably start with what the goal of man defense is. The goal of man defense, really, at the end of the day, is just to get the other team, onto a sideline. Once you're on the sideline, it's really hard to throw it in the space because there's not much space for you to throw into. So we want to try and get the team either all the way on this sideline here or this sideline here. And once they're there, we want to trap them against the sideline so that they turn over the disc very easily. So that should always be our goal on man defense. And obviously not let them score. So how do we do that? Well, we do what is called forcing. And you've probably heard this a lot already. The word force, at least. And it's a very deliberately chosen word because we are literally trying to force them to throw it into a space. So, on the sideline, we have all of our stuff. That's this stuff down here, this stuff down here. That's just going to be our stuff. That's how we know what side is home. So that's designated as our home side, and whatever the other side is the away side. So that's just how we designate what side we're forcing them to. Now, if we call a force home, that means that we are trying to force them to throw the disc. Let's say this guy has the disc here. We want to force him to throw the disc to the home side of the field. So we will let him throw it all over here. But we do not let him throw it over here. So we do that by setting up in that space. So the man who's playing defense on this guy with the disc would be playing right about there. Right, so he or she is trying to not let any throws get off that way or that way around. Those are unacceptable if we are forcing to the home side of the field because we want to control where they're throwing it. So if this defender is set up here, then it only makes sense for the rest of our team who are on people who are going to be cutting to set up on the other side. Right? So that it's easier to get an interception or a block or a D on these guys who are trying to cut into this space. If we set up on this side of them, we already have a step on them, we're in their way. It's hard for them to make it to the space that we're forcing them into. So that would be a home force. If it was an away force, let's see, then the stack for the other team would be set up a little bit over here because they want to run into the space we're giving them. And so now we're trying to force them away, which is this space all over here. So our defender is going to set up right about there. And our cutter defenders are going to line up over there. So that it's harder for them to make it to this space. So that would be a home force and an away force. However, we want to force them into certain positions on the field, whether it be to the sidelines or deep or under. So we will force deep and we'll force under. If we're forcing deep, it means it's very similar to forcing home or forcing away. We're forcing them to throw a deep throw, which might be hard for some teams. We played Oxford yesterday. They were very good at going deep. So we would not want to force deep against Oxford. So if we wanted to force them to go into that space, then let's say this would be an away deep force, right? So if we're forcing, why? Luke, what the heck, bro? Luke, relax. Oh my gosh. All right, so if we're forcing away and deep, then our handler's still going to set up about 45 degrees on the home side of this guy so that he can only throw it into this space. But now our cutter defenders are going to want to be set up underneath and on the away side of the cutters. Why do we do that? Because this guy from in the back of the stack is going to try and come under like that, and we're not going to let him because, look, we're right in the way of that. So he's going to have to go deep, and that's what we want them to do. We think that we're more athletic than them. We'll be able to beat them in the air. So we're okay with that as long as we're not letting them have a super easy throw, right? Conversely, we can force them under. If we're forcing them under, that's something we'd probably do against Oxford because they don't have the best throwers, so we want to make them make a lot of throws. This would be the under space here. So we'd be trying to force them to get to that space there. And how do we do that? Well, we set up on the deep side of them. Right about there. So that if they try to make their annoying deep cuts, they have to go right through us, and obviously they can't plow through us, so they're forced to go under into the space that we want them to go into, and then we don't want to be too far away. We want to be able to make a play on the disc, but we're pushing them where we want to push them. So this would be a away under force. That's how we'd set up on defense. This would be an away deep force. This would be away deep. And then we would have the home forces, which look very similar. If we wanted to force them home, we'd set up over there, and if we wanted to force them deep, we'd set up over here. So this would be a home deep force. This would be home deep. And then if we wanted to do a home under force, then we'd set up right there. Now you guys might be wondering what this guy is doing back here. That is the reset handler who's helping this guy handle the disc. And he is obviously going to have a defender on him as well. And this defender's job really is to not let any throws get off up the field from this guy to this guy. So if this guy throws a little dinky throw over there and this guy runs up line and gets it, that's no good. That's this guy's job to stop. As long as this guy forces his man right there to go around that way into the back, we don't really mind that, as long as this man is able to cut off here. If this guy were to come over this way and get the disc here on a throw like that, then this defender's a little behind, and that makes this throw to all of that open space we don't want them to get to really easy. So this guy has to cook it over as fast as he can, and that's called sealing. He wants to seal off that space and then push in and start counting again. So that's what that would look like. That's just a little bit of handler defense. I'll probably go over that in the future more, but this is just a little intro, how we force, what we mean when we say we're forcing a certain way. And that's about all I have for that one. So thanks for watching. If you guys do, let me know if you want me to make another one. And yeah, thanks.